We are just using these as a basic guide for drawing the face. Hi everyone, Chelsea O Studio here, and today we are talking about facial proportions. What's up everybody? Welcome back to the studio. So today we're going to talk about facial proportions, and really the only way to teach you this is to just go right into it. A little bit of a minor disclaimer here. Facial proportions vary greatly between people based on age and race. So a lot of these measurements aren't perfect, but just like in the body proportions, we are just using these as a basic guide for drawing the face. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So you are going to start with a circle, and it doesn't have to be a perfect circle, just a circle. Then you're going to draw a line that is maybe slightly less than double that circle, maybe like 1 2/3 of the circle. And face lengths differ also, so just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind throughout everything that I say. Everything's gonna differ based on the person that you're drawing. Once you have that, you're going to take the top and the bottom, and you're gonna find the halfway point between those two. So I'm gonna guess it's about right here. Just draw that across. And from that halfway point, we're going to divide this bottom section in 2/3. I've heard some people say that you divide it in half and then you divide the bottom portion in half. I've also heard people say you divide it in 2/4. You do whatever you feel looks the best. I will be dividing it into 1/3. And now we can draw the chin. So it's going to extend down from the sides of the circles and meet in the middle. It'll be more square for a guy and more round for a female, unless you're like me and you have a man jaw, but whatever, we're not talking about that right now. There's that. So these lines are definitely not permanent. They're like a placeholder. Think of them like that. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna draw the eyes. Zoom here a little bit to help y'all out. Now you have your base shape. If you have ever taken a drawing class before, they probably just say something along the lines of, now draw your eyes, and then you end up with something like that. Well, I'm here to give you an actual measurement that you can use whenever you are drawing eyes and the face. So your center line is the line between your eyes, right? You're gonna take from the outer edges of those lines, you're going to completely divide that in half as best you can. And then you're gonna divide those sections again. So you should have 8 equal divisions here, right? So now you can take your pencil and you can draw in the eye. And here's the rule that this follows. Your eye is actually going to be an eye's width apart, and then a half an eye from the side of your face, give or take, depending on the character or person. What you're left with is a pretty even set of eyes. Now, again, this is if you are drawing somebody with normal proportions, like an anime character, they will take up more than this amount of space, you know. But just the average human on a semi-realistic way, that's about the measurement that you need. So just don't forget about those 8 tally marks that you can start with if the face is forward. Now that changes completely if it is towards the side, but if it's forward, this works. Now your eyebrow rests on your brow bone. To find that, you have 2 options. You can either divide this into 1/3 or 1/4. It'll just depend on the character that you're trying to draw and the person, clearly. I'm gonna say this a million times and I really am sorry about that. Let's just see what it looks like with the head that I've drawn. So if I were to draw it in 1/4, I kind of like that. Let's try 1/3. Looks a little too surprised. I'm gonna go with 1/4 for this head that I've drawn. And this is going to be kind of like the peak, the top of where our eyebrows are gonna go. So they start down, they peak up, and then they come back down. And the eyebrows will just sit a little bit further out from the eyes themselves on either side. It'll be closer to the inside of your eye and then further away from the outside of the eye. And draw the other one. It's really difficult to get the eyebrows to look the same unless you're drawing digitally and can just mirror the layer. I don't actually need this middle line right here, but we might come back to this line later. Okay, so we have our eye now, and we actually do need to draw in the iris, so it's just going to be centered. The iris is a circle, and the circle is slightly covered by the top of your eyelid and then barely touches, usually, if you have a neutral expression, the bottom eyelid. And they always look a little cross-eyed until you add in like shines and irises and details. And with shading and stuff, the person will look less surprised. So just trust the process. Every drawing goes through an ugly stage. So your nose is actually also going to be an eye width apart on the outside of the nostrils. So if you were to draw a line down the nose, nostrils are going to be that wide. And the width of the nose changes based on race as well. The base of the nose was on that line, so it's as wide as these eyes, and then on that line that we drew, that first third. This person is kind of androgynous. They don't really have a gender or race. Noses are all shading too, so if you're having trouble with noses, we can go over that in a future video. So just drop it in the comments if you're interested. And then this line is the bottom of the lip, the bottom of the bottom lip. And the corners of your mouth are going to be somewhere between the middle of your pupil and the outside edge of your iris if you are not smiling or anything. So this is going to be the corner, the crease for your mouth, and your top lip. And if that's feeling too wide, remember you have this whole area, so you can go as close in as this if you want to, depending on your person. So let's go ahead and do that just so you can see. So you can draw in your lips from here. Now if this looks too high, it just means that this line was not placed properly. You're welcome to either move the mouth down now, or you can fix that later. It's up to you. And then we have our ears, and the ears actually extend from the top of the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose. And so the ear will start a little bit lower, and then it will extend up, and at this angle it will just touch down there. This angle you can't really see a whole lot, but then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then your neck actually meets back here. Curve it in over the jawline and then out. So this line right here is actually going to be your hairline, depending on the person. It's kind of looking like a mannequin right now, but... And don't draw any hair hats. I see a lot of people drawing like this, like their hair's like that, and that is a hairstyle, but most of the time people don't have that hairstyle. So make sure that you draw in some sideburns, because even the ladies are gonna have those sideburns. Once your face is done, you can see that some of the proportions are just a little bit off. And that's because the eyes sort of dictate where everything goes. So if they are off, even just a little bit in size or placement, it's gonna make the whole face seem off. But now that we know where the eyes are, we can go in and make small adjustments to the face that we've drawn around it. I'm gonna desaturate the layer a little bit and draw on top of it now. If you were doing this with pencil, you could just lightly erase everything and then draw on top of it. I mentioned in my gesture video that if you draw something and you want to transfer it to a new piece of paper so you don't have all your eraser marks, you can trace it onto that paper, so you can use that technique here as well. Or you can just keep drawing on top of it, and then after you've done that, transfer it and do all your finishing touches. And based how you draw your chin and your nose and the eyes. That's how you're gonna be able to tell the gender, the race, all that fun stuff of the person. I'm trying not to make things look too obvious either way, just because these are general base proportions. And then for hair, imagine this line as the skull. So like the actual bone. So you're actually going to have a little bit of flesh and skin that's gonna raise it up a tiny bit. And then whatever hair you have, even if it's short hair, will be above that. So unless you're bald, but even bald people are going to have it just a little bit higher up than the line of the skull, and you just wouldn't see this line here. But so if you were to draw hair on top, you would literally just draw, you know, bangs extend from the hairline itself, no matter what kind of style it is, middle part, side part, whatever. And then hair sits on top. You had some cool like side sweep or whatever. If you even have long hair, the long hair is going to start up above and it's going to, you know, come down. So this is just like base human, 100% base human. If I wanted to make it more masculine, I could harden the jawline. I could give him masculine hair. So it just depends on how you add the details to make it look one way or the other, and then just pay attention to race attributes. As you can see, the face is entirely dependent upon where the eyes are, so editing around the head after that is something that happens to me a lot, so it might happen to you as well if you follow this process from the face straightforward. But knowing these base proportions can also help in the other angles of the face. If you'd like to see me do a video on the other angles of the face, you can let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys liked this video. I hope it was helpful for you. If you'd like to see more from me or purchase some artwork, here are all my links. Don't forget that you should also like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a single one of my future videos. And other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you next week. Bye!